joined us. A little southern boy. That makes me feel so much better.
Wormhole Riders.
And Claudia Black online.
This is Claudia Black online.
Have you been to Claudia Black online?
Yes, he has. Uh-oh.
Not yet.
Yes.
I think you should check it out.
But as soon as he goes back up to his room,
I'm not allowed.
Oh, that's, we can
we've
understand.
got enough of Claudia Black for over 10
I've been
years.
banned from Claudia Black online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it was tragic, but I was spending way too much time there.
Okay, no, we won't play that.
Lies.
Well, since we have Ben here now, I'll introduce myself again. I'm Radio Star on WormholeRiders.com and Green Eggs and Sam on Claudia Black Online. And this is Space Gypsy 1 on Claudia Black Online.
My real name's Becca.
My real name is Sam. Obvious. And we represent WormholeRiders.com, which does convention coverage for Stargate and Farscape. So we report on the conventions, make it feel like the fans who can't come are there with us.
Oh, hi everyone who couldn't come.
They'll really appreciate that. And then we represent Claudia Black Online as well, which is in self-explanatory. It's all about Claudia. So we had to skip out of the Stargate panel to come and set up here,
Oh.
sadly. And we were trying to wait for the current project's question. So we wanted to ask
That was
you...
sort of devastating, really, so, you know.
Oh, no.
So what do you have going on? Well, I've been doing the laundry and
Rearranging my sock drawer next.
I finished my kitchen.
Big plans.
The toilet seats look great in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's kind of like the last thing you ask actors.com.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we know that you're developing a new series.
Yeah, and as Ben says, I mean, it's sort of, in one sense, it's great to talk about it because I feel very creatively sort of satisfied right now. But on the other hand, there's not much to talk about until someone's paying a check to make it. So, in so many different ways, you know, there's a, you know, even if you're superstitious about talking about intellectual property, or, you know, I mean, try to get something happening and trying to get fan support behind something that may not actually eventuate. It's a difficult proposition. So how far do you go down the line to you know, in talking about it?
Yeah, because I was developing a new movie that was about the next, you know, like Star Trek, but at an earlier stage.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly.
And they, you know, they stole it.
Bow.
So not to jump on Claudia Black online.
No, but please.
But
No, please.
well, you know, my feelings about it is that quite often people talk about what they're working on and what's coming up, but so much of what is on IMDb.com, especially on IMDb Pro, stuff in development, most of it is never going to see the light of day. It's stuff that is in development. And if you're the least bit superstitious about it, which I am, I never mention a project that is in the future unless someone else has already spilled the beans and I have to answer the question. So when the question is asked, what's going on, and you go, well, I mean, Going Homer, which is a project that I have at Sci-Fi announced it without asking me.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they announced that it was in development, and it's great that they announced it because it means that they're serious about it, but on the other hand, I would never bring it up independent of a producing company or something like that.
Oh, I thought by virtue of them mentioning it that it's legit and therefore it was open for discussion.
Well, it
So
is
I'm
legit, it's open for discussion, but it's still, you know, it's in development, which means that there's this stage, and this stage, and then that stage, and we're here. I don't like to talk about it until you're
Right.
I like when you get to that final hurdle and you in production and you have a project and you know where it's going to go and be shown. I like talking about this stuff.
Can you tell us in general what Going Homer is about? Because we keep reading Going Homer, Going Homer, Going Homer, but all we have is the title.
No, Going Homer is about a 12-year-old boy, Homer Jones, who sees the Greek myths unfolding around him in his world, and it's the Iliad and the Odyssey smashed together. And surrounding him and his family. And so, you know, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's highbrow.
Ben's handler standing over there going, what the hell is Ben doing in the middle of an interview? He wasn't scheduled to be there. What's he doing?
Do I need to go?
I'm afraid so.
See?
Oh,
I thought so.
I
This is
know.
great.
I knew I was only going to let him
We
be here
enjoy
for a
your moments.
second.
We
They were
enjoy your
fun.
moments.
This happens all the time.
This is the only time I get to see him
That's okay. I'll find you
in
online.
an interview.
I'll find you
Claudia
I'll find
Black
you
Online.
Yeah. I'll give you a Twitter address.
Yeah, you can Twitter.
Find out what I'm up to. Bye, honey. I'll see you
Thanks
later.
so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by.
So can you give us a little rundown of what Ink is about?
Huh.
We
Well,
know
since
from
it's
the
not
Twitter.
even in development, I can't really
Oh,
at
okay.
this stage. But the whole point of getting people to follow it on Twitter is just one of the messages, one of the underlying messages of the concept is, power of the people. And it's an unlikely group of people who band together to get the planet out of a very dire situation. And it focuses on and embraces the idea of a group of people who would ordinarily be considered disparate or unrelated, unconnected people, disconnected, coming together and really accomplishing something extraordinary. And it's got a strong graphic novel element to it. We don't know how we will develop it, what will come first. It depends on who and if anyone is signing checks. So if they want to start, I've been talking to people recently about graphic novels, and a lot of them are launching ideas, TV ideas. They've got an idea for a pilot, but they're launching it as a graphic novel first. So we don't know which direction it will go. But it's a really good concept, and I met with Bonnie Hammer and we talked about a few things, and we're looking to develop things for what I would consider to be my demographics. Hopefully people will like it.
So what I support you is to get everybody to follow your Twitter.
Right, so that's the first thing. So we just, virally, it's just, I think, a good idea it helps us actually get to know you guys more too, because if we start following you too, we know what your interests are, and we really want to cater to you guys. I think that we're on the same page in terms of what we like tonally, in terms of comedy, and in terms of popular culture, what interests us all. And so it's just a way of keeping the community connected to us, and we will let you know if if there's. Well, ultimately, for me, I'm hoping for the day where I will be able to invite everyone who'd signed up to follow on Twitter to a premiere screening. I mean, they're the sort of things I'm thinking of down the line. Is how can I pay the fans back? How can I let them know that for their loyalty there will be hopefully wonderful things that we can share down the line. So we just thought grassroots, let's start it here, let's see if we can get a following, and then as we talk to people, we can, we start to sort of get a little community going.
Because we covered it on our blog.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if you checked out our blog yet.
Not yet, but I did notice.
We had a special Claudia Black new series in production.
Thank you very much.
When we just based it off of what we read on the Twitter, so if it's
Right.
not accurate, we're really sorry.
No, so what we will do, very shortly actually, we're going to go out and pitch it shortly. So as soon as we have to trademark the IP, as soon as we've done that, we just want to take advantage while we're at conventions of spreading the word, because it's been inspired by our fan community and in part, so I really want to sort of get connected with you guys before we go in to make the show, so that whoever does end up signing the checks understands that it's important to me, and that I can find ways to include you guys in the process somehow if anyone's interested at any stage.
So what's it like for you? Because it's obviously a role switch. You're not in front of the camera as an actress now. You're more behind the camera, behind the scenes, producing. Are you writing at all? I mean, what's it like to switch over and flex those creative muscles as compared to the acting creative muscles?
It's a great question. I mean, I've had this really interesting renaissance, I suppose, because as soon as I had my children, my life as an actor changed. I can't give all of my time as an actor would be able to, or is expected and required to. I gave everything to Fast Hip. I mean, I had no life. And when I finally met the man who was now my husband, I said to him, I can't ever commit to anything. If you ask me out on what we call a school night, I probably won't be able to make it. If we do overtime, I'm sorry, I don't want to ever let you down. So I then thought, as soon as I had my children, I said, I can't say that to my children. I can't ever let my children down that way. If I say I'm going to do something, and I wanted to be a woman of my word, so I would say to my husband, I can't commit, so as long as you understand that I may never be there for those events, if you're going out to do something or whatever, I may not be able to make it. So I thought, how do I restructure my life so that I can commit completely to my husband and my children. My husband made a big sacrifice and sort of left his life in Australia as he knew it to come over with me to the Northern Hemisphere to work, and he wanted life experience, but then I have to think, well, at what cost and how do I, really make the most of this opportunity? So I started, I'd had an idea that came about when I was working with Michael Shanks on Starcade. We had such a funny, comedic chemistry together. And I said, I've got this idea for a comedy. Are you interested? And he said, yeah, sure. Whatever, include me. Let me know if I can help. And I said, all right. And I let it ruminate for a while. And then finally, after having my second child, I was busy, and then I had my second child, and the idea came back to me. And once you have to start scheduling for more than one child, you have to start repurposing your brain. I mean, it really needs to become capable of multitasking in a way that it never has been, required of the brain before. And so I could see, for years people have been saying to me, why don't you get into producing? And I didn't know what they really saw in me that would make me a good producer, because no one really likes producers terribly much. I knew that I could put people together. I could recognize talent and ability and say, oh, you guys would really get on, and I think you'd be on the same page, and I think you'd have a great time working together. That's one skill that producers have. There's so much. There's an unbelievable amount of work that goes into producing. But my brain, it was like my babies were my first production. And suddenly I felt like I could see what it was that a producer, what was required of a producer. And little did I know, I mean, the minutiae, all the things, the details that are involved in good producing. You just can't afford to let any detail, go unnoticed. And yet at the same time, as a parent, you learn spiritually that you can't afford to be a perfectionist. You have to just surrender and accept. So it's been this really interesting battle with this world I'm trying to create for myself, so that I have a future down the line as a writer/producer. I don't want to give up the acting, but I don't know what form the next, what role I will take on next as an actor that will allow me to spend time with my children. So I think about that really seriously. And the comedy idea with Michael, I finally did develop with another writer, and the concept is stronger now. We will hopefully be pitching that shortly too. So there's 3 projects that I'm about to go in and pitch there, 3 television shows, and a movie called The Package that I was asked to produce, which is an independent feature. And that's a beautifully written style piece. It's like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. It's got that sort of feel to it. The writer-director, Brad Spencer, had great success with it as a short film, and it was accepted into Tribeca. Got a lot of attention, and so people were saying, what next, we'd love to see this as a feature. So he's completed the feature film screenplay, and so we're out shooting that.
It's great news.
2 at the moment.
Great, yeah, that's awesome.
It was funny because my friend who's an acting coach, Martha Gayman, I said, I don't know, Martha, I think the universe is telling me to quit acting. And she said, no, you're not ready to quit. And I said, but how do I give it everything? Because, I mean, I gave Aaron everything I had. And I don't want to give anything less than that as an actor. I'm not going to fax it in, so how do I do it? And, is it about creating my own opportunities? Can I somehow find a way to create these opportunities for myself so that I can still be completely present in my family's life? And she said, look, all I can tell you is 2 things. Quitting acting is a process, so you don't just do it overnight. Secondly, if there's something else you're meant to be doing, the universe will just present that to you with complete ease. There will be no obstructions in your path to that thing. And that week, 2 people asked me to produce their independent features. I thought, okay, we'll give it a shot. So,
well, with your motherhood and balancing motherhood and working, it's universal. But your work is longer hours than a regular mother, and finding that balance. And that's one of the things that I'm most interested in, having been a working mother. But the fact that, but you explain that, but don't you think that balance, that there comes that point when they get to a certain age where your balance is going to change again?
Absolutely.
And so you're producing, acting.
That's right.
And you'll have that with your kids, and you can still love them and say, okay, I am going to be 45 minutes late, not
Yeah.
4 days late.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, the secret word there that you mentioned, or the key word, is balance. So at the moment, it's about prioritizing, working out what my priorities are. And I'm grateful. It's been this really weird thing, realizing that I've been so grateful that there's someone else that I care more for than myself.
Mm-hmm.
So my day isn't about me. I hate grooming. I mean, that's sort of not a well-kept secret about me, but I don't mean that I'm unhygienic, but my goodness,
Oh.
the idea of having to schedule a manicure, I mean, I did that for you guys for Dragon. Don't thank me. I know I'm supposed to do it, but pedicures, all that stuff. I let my roots go grey if I can. I just don't have the time to prioritize that and never wanted to. So I'm not, that whole pretty committee thing is just not my bag.
But your children think you're beautiful.
And so it's been, I just thought, wow, how interesting as an actress to see that the world around me has changed and that my career is, I don't know what it will be. And
Yeah.
you have, with hindsight, I'll be able to look back and join the dots and say, oh, well, of course, this is logical that I would then end up here.
Yeah.
It's having the faith to just know that if I keep my head down and stay the course, that there will be something that stimulates me down the line. Because at first my ego was scared and I thought, how do I hold on to my acting career while I have babies so that it hasn't completely fallen apart when I get to the other side? Because it's something that's been so precious to me. Not if I say my career is precious to me, just doing what I love.
What you love, yeah.
So I hated the idea of never being able to do that again. And there seems to be this whole concept of momentum, especially with careers as opposed to, a job, that you have to sort of keep that train moving.
Well, we certainly appreciate you and your time and getting the wrap-ups.
I know.
I hate that, but
Yeah.
We have one more question,
Sure.
and there was a great debate on whether or not we should ask you this.
Okay, gosh, controversy, here we go.
But it's kind of a fan service question.
Uh-huh.
We know you won't answer who the better kisser is. We know you won't answer it. People ask you all the time. Just so you know, Michael answered it at Chicago, and he said you were a better kisser than Ben.
I am. Oh. Michael. I will say that Ben and I got far more practice.
Oh,
But that's
And
not
practice
the question.
makes perfect.
That's not the question.
Thank you.
The actual question is, who smells better?
This is not fair. But I will give you my honest answer. It is Ben. Because I love the aftershave that he occasionally wears when he's been a bit highfalutin and fancy. He'll put on a little bit of cologne. And it's very nice. So I identify it with him. That's, to me, is his signature scent. And I don't ever recall smelling aftershave on Michael.
That's correct.
Great.
Well, we wanted to give you something
We
as
thank
a thank you for
Aw.
doing our interview. These are Frango mints. They're chocolates. You can
Excellent.
only get them in Chicago,
Wow.
where Alyssa and I are from. And you can only get them what is now Macy's. It was Marshall Fields.
Oh, wow.
And so we hope you'll like them and you'll come to Chicago sometime.
I would love to come to Chicago sometime. I'm also doing improv now.
Ooh, how you should come to Chicago.
So I'm going to come and check out Second City soon.
And make sure you let us know so we can bring the hordes to come see you.
Awesome. All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything, and I
wonderful.
promise I'll give you
I
guys
can't
updates.
wait to see you
as
on
soon as
my
I-
television again. I just have to tell you that.
Oh, well, let's hope it's soon, because Lord knows we don't want to see this in HD for much longer.
Yeah.
We're recording in HD now.
Yeah, thanks.